Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Wednesday's edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. Well, Dennis, it looked like we had a strong continuation of this rally overnight, but it's starting to give it back.
Yeah, Joel, it was strong overnight there, you're right. And just in the last 20 minutes to half an hour, we were up a couple of bucks. Now we're down 3, so we've given back 5 points here, and from the time about 7:40 Eastern now till about 8:10. So in the last half hour, the market has gotten a little bit weaker, which isn't surprising considering the Oracle numbers.
Right, and also considering that, Monday night we were trading barely under the 1200 mark and had a 50-point rally when you take that 1249 high there. Really didn't have a good number there. 1249 a quarter with some minor resistance. If that 1249 holds as the high of the day, we got a downside target at 1222, quite a ways away from, well, actually only 10 points away from here, so we could be hitting that target. On the downside, making new lows as we speak, but 1232 has been the low. If that holds, we can get back up to the 1259 area, but we just kind of have a slow melt here, so doubt that 1232 is going to hold. Right now, a good number on the upside would be your close and Tuesday's high. It'd be about a 4 or 5 point rally from here. That'd be a good point of resistance to start out. Moving on to the Big Ten. Apple Computer, Dennis, absolutely caught on fire yesterday. We did have a lot of numbers going up in that stock on the upside, and boy, oh boy, did they make us look right. Settled at $395.95, trading a $1.50 away from there. I guess if you get a chance to short it up anywhere, from that $395 maybe up to $397 area, which was the 1110 high, might be a good shorting opportunity, a chance to take along. I really don't see anything holding this stock up until 387.26, which was yesterday's low, and there's a gap below that, Dennis.
Yeah, obviously we talked about the 384, 385 area. If we were to get above there, that we knew that there was 5 or 6 points of nothingness. It filled that in a matter of a couple of hours, obviously all the way up to 396 to close at the old resistance level. I still think 400 could come into play here eventually. But pullbacks here probably need to be bought. But remember that 390, 391 area that was giving us support for a while? That may give us support here again, Joel. So, I know we a lot from yesterday, but if you remember the old numbers, maybe 390, 391 finds a little bit of support. I always am a big fan of 2-day moves, so I think Oracle's putting a lid on this, obviously, with the stock being down $1.60 and the futures being down slightly as well. But I think, a pullback's probably to be bought, and I do think 100 here in the next few days.
Okay, moving on to our next component, Dennis, ExxonMobil. We have an interesting setup here. I noticed that a lot of that size was taken out on the close yesterday. Maybe you just had some shorts puking there, or some people just looking for the file through. But we closed right there at $82. That was a high of the day, closing print, big print. We're only trading down 14 cents from there. So that 82 up to 82.20 should be good resistance. Folks that took that stock home long might be looking for an early exit. Coming back on the downside, not a lot in there, folks. Friday's high was 80.91. But you got a little gap to fill there. Monday's high was 80.46 and 80.61. So I think that's your first area of good support.
Yeah, you got to think, Joel, this 82 number, obviously a lot of the size was taken out. It gets above that 82, then the stock goes into breakout mode, but I would use that 82 still as resistance. Still 25,000 shares there. Not a ton, like you said, a lot got taken out in the closing print there, but still, $82 is a big psychological level here, trading 81.86, so I think you'll see some high-frequency resistance in the 81.90s. Once that 82 goes, then it opens up, though.
Okay, IBM rallied along with the rest of the market yesterday, kind of rebounding from that mysterious sell-off it had on expiration Friday. Made a high at 187.33, closing right in that area. Now we're getting a steep drop, Dennis, down 326. You could probably attribute that to a little bit of the overflow from Oracle. I do have 184.76 as yesterday's low. Since we're trading below that level, I will use that as resistance. Coming back on the downside, really don't see much until Monday's low and Friday's low, which were only about 40 cents apart. So let's just call that the 182 area. Is there any news on IBM I'm missing, Dennis?
Nothing company specific, Joel. I think it is mostly just due to that Oracle number. Right as soon as Oracle's number came out after the bell, this immediately sold off a couple of bucks. It is following through here again this morning, 183.75. So definitely very weak morning for IBM here at Oracle as well, obviously. A lot of the other tech stocks are down on the day as well, just like we were just talking about Apple. But you're seeing, a broad-based sell-off really in tech here on those Oracle numbers.
Okay, Mr. Softy, same sector, same story, trading down 20 cents this morning here in the pre-market. Really, that resistance really moved up. That is Monday, Tuesday's high, 26.10 to 12. Backed up by the weekly high at 26.17. So even though the SPUs broke out and really crushed that, had a big move, couldn't get the same out of Microsoft, settled right at the 26.02 area, opening up right into support yesterday's low at 25.81. So if we don't get it bounce there, I look for a test of Monday's low at 25.46. And Dennis, boy, we've been talking about this 25.5, 26. The boundary's been expanded a little bit on the upside, but for quite a while here in Microsoft.
Yeah, range trading, channeltrading.com or whatever that site used to be, 26.02 is the close, 26.10 put a lid on it again. It seems like the stock just gets into the low 26s and there's sellers all over the place. Same thing again today, obviously Oracle is probably Microsoft here trading at 25.82. And I think I agree. I think it gets down at 25.5 area, Joel. I think you find some buyers. So keep playing that area, 26.10 to the 25.5 until it doesn't work.
Okay, moving on to Chevron Corporation here, Dennis. I see a straight print here at 103.74. Obviously, looking at the book here, that was just a straight print or an odd lot or something. Once again, opened or closed right near the high. 103.85 was the high. I'm sorry?
No, sorry. I was just going to say, that was a straight print there, Joel. There hasn't been anything except an odd lot today. Although, well, there you go. 103.12 just printed.
Okay. 103.12. Not much in this area. Going on the downside, a bunch of one-star numbers, which don't mean much. Got a gap to fill, 101.33 to 101.78. So if the SPUs go into a sell-off mode and this stock continues along, that's what I'm looking for. And then once you get above this 103.85, don't have a specific number here at 104, but boy, you got the 7, 8, 9 day high here from 104.23 to 104.08. So that certainly looks, anything over 104 certainly looks like a liquidation area here in Chevron Corporation.
And it really was earlier in the month as well, Joel. Every time we got into the 104s, it just touched on the 105s. We did find sellers, so I would expect the same thing to happen here again. Obviously support, it's huge support we were talking about yesterday at the 9.5. I don't see it getting that low today. But I think you'll find, some, maybe you can look at, on Monday's high and yesterday's low at 101.78. That might find an area of support there. Obviously, though, the major support being down at 199.50 area.
Good day for J&J yesterday, rallying up 64.73, recent high in that stock. As you pull up the daily there, folks, you see that 65 level. Not sure, is that big size still there at 65, Dennis?
Still a little bit. It's early in the morning,
okay.
But yeah, I do see a sizable seller there still.
Okay.
Working.
Well, first they'll have to deal with 64.73, which was Tuesday's high, and 20 cents above that is 64.95. Have this thing basically unched right now, 64.52. So down SPUs, not affecting J&J. Pretty easy on the downside. Keep an eye on the 6401. That was Tuesday's low if you're short or looking to try long for the first time in J&J today.
Yeah, that 65 area definitely is going to have some resistance. I think those high-frequency guys will be in the 6490s. You get some aggressive ones in the 6480s. So expect resistance starting in the 6480s, even 6473 yesterday's high. I'd say you have resistance all the way up there. So, you can get short off at 6470. I like the risk return on that.
Okay, Procter & Gamble continues its ascent up here. Made another recent high of this move. Made a high at 65.91, closed at 65.79. Just trying to tractor beam itself up to the 66 level, the 66.30 level, which was at 10 on October 21st. Dennis, you see much in the book at 66 there?
Yeah, the 66 still has some size, but I'm going to have to limit my comments because I do have a position in Procter & Gamble.
Okay. All right. Moving on to our next component, AT&T. Dennis really shrugged off the news of taking a $4 billion charge for the breakup of the T-Mobile deal. The stock got up right into that nice resistance we have. Tuesday's high, 29.16. Backed up by the 5 and 6 day highs at 29.25 and a 29.25. I guess shorting this stock anywhere above 29.10, 29.20 area. You got pretty good protection. Coming back on the downside, even though we were trading lower in the pre-market, Dennis, Tuesday's low did not even get to Monday's low. So good support in the 28.65 to 28.77 level.
Yeah, and even the 28.50 level if you get below that. But yeah, I like the sell better than the buy here, though. I think it gets up to the 29.19, 29.20 area. That's where it's been topping out before. So, if it gets to its settlement, 29.12 even, that's going to be starting to be resistance there as well. 29.50 is huge on this stock. I just don't see it having the gas to get there today. So that's why I think maybe you have to be a little more aggressive on the short.
Okay, GE made a high, tried to take a run at that 1750 level. Got stopped short at 1739, just above the other high we had besides the 1750. Settled back underneath that at 1728. Good support. Friday and Monday's highs. That was that little double top we talked about yesterday that we broke out of. So you'll have support from the 1704 area all the way down to 1710. So if you're trying some shorts early in GE, we get down near that 17 level, 1705 level. Look for a little bounce or a little bit support. Below that, it opens up until Monday's low at 1679.
Yeah, I'll just say I like that 17 support as well, Joel. I think that's where, if we have a weak day today or a give back day, I think that's where I find some support.
Okay, our 10th and final component, Coca-Cola, Dennis, made a new high of the move, 68.64, closed just off that. Looking good support at Tuesday's low, and let's use that close as resistance.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Obviously took out that 68 seller, but 68.40, 68.64 being the high, I'd use that as your next resistance level as well.
Okay, SPU's considering their slow meltdown here, perhaps looking to work its way towards the daily pivot at 12:24. We'll take a quick break, post our show. We'll be back with our market movers.